No, just we were all just talking about how like it was like Walter Mercado showed up on the stream on TV, like everybody shut the hell up, turned off the TV, like everybody shut up, the volume went up, and if you spoke up while Walter Mercado was talking, you got the chancleta or you got the pipao upside the back of your head.
Mom will be like, "Shh, my sign is up. It's on right now." Shh,
no. It wouldn't even matter if it was your sign. You had to know about everybody's sign. And then like on Saturday nights, if it was for Sábado Gigante for Don Francisco, he came on, bro. You shut your ass up. You just sat there and watched, whether you wanted to or not.
Yo, I can't believe he's still doing it, man. I can't believe he's still doing it. That's crazy.
I said it at the barbershop. He's the Spanish Walt Disney. His body has been cloned for science. And he's gonna live forever, bro.
I agree, man. I agree. Insane, yeah. All right, let me share this on Twitter so people could join us. 1 second. Yeah, people want this Division Talk Radio, huh?
Yep.
That's how it looks like. It's 8:55, Pete.
8:55? Okay. You want me to update that? I can update.
Yeah, the way how things are set up now with Apple, it's kind of weird. But
the reason I did that is because according to Audio Boom, unless I can't read.
Yeah, you can't read.
You're right. I saw 8:54 and I
can't read because this is weird.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, let me see.
All right, it should be updated. Can we get confirmation from F5?
I apologize if my connection sucks. Just give me a heads up because they're watching the kids.
I gave you the way to fix it. Move to your brothers.
Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Not gonna work for me.
Mesa Sean saying exactly what I was just talking about.
I saw that this morning.
It's funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's funny.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to talk about here today.
No, we don't. So, it's just Division. We're just going to be talking about Division 2. That's it. Deal with
it. Yeah. I mean, dude, if we got look, this episode, I'll have my channel on the podcast. You see what I'm saying? But all right. So we were on Twitch.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah,
audio
right,
sounds
let's do it.
Gucci. Let's go. Rock and roll.
All right, let's do this. All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 855. This is your host, Danny, and joining me this week, the host, Gamertag Radio, we have Paris here in the house, man. What's going on, Paris?
Hey, good morning. It's been a while since all three of us have been together on the podcast, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been over 2 weeks.
But yeah, about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good, man. We've been releasing content throughout those weeks, you know. And also joining us this week, we have Pete in the house, man. What's up, Pete?
Hey, yo, dude. So glad that the three of us are finally back on a stream. Jesus, feels like we've been we've like forgotten about the live show. We've had so much stuff coming
we just been busy, man. You guys also gotta understand we've been extremely busy. You know, we're going to events and plus personal stuff. Like it's been crazy, man. But if you're subscribed to the podcast, you could check out all the content that we've been releasing for the past few weeks now. And it's been good, man. Great content, man. Great content. There's more coming up. Oh, trust me. We have a lot more goodies coming out, man. I can't wait. Can't wait, man. So head over to gamertagradio.com. Put your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes, of course. Also, if you have a smartphone, you could subscribe to your favorite podcast app, and you could find GTR. Just look for Gamertag Radio. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, coming soon Pandora, and other podcast directories. Make sure to also share it with your friends. Tell them about GTR and help us grow. Help us get more new listeners, man. So we also got to talk about this, Pete and Paris. E3 is coming up, and we're trying to raise money to go to E3, man. Bills is kind of expensive, man. We need the support from the GTR community to help us out attend E3 this year. We already have the badges, so now we just need the support. If you want to donate, help us out, go to donate.gamertagradio.com. That's www.gamertagradio.com. We can't go to E3 without your support, so please help us out, man. So anything else, guys, before we go to the main topic of the show?
Let's do it.
No, I think you covered that pretty well. Just to reemphasize, yeah, I mean, as far as the donations go, we typically try to not ask for those things, but yeah, if in this scenario, as far as going to E3, as far as upgrading some of our equipment, things like that, anything that anyone out there listening or watching this on Twitch can help out with, donate.gamertagradio.com would be greatly appreciated, and it will be going to great use as we continue to grow our content and our reach and all that good stuff. So anything that you can do is greatly appreciated.
Definitely. All right, so the past couple days we've been playing the Division 2, and before we go with our review, I'm gonna go back.
It's not a review.
Oh, hands-on impressions. Sorry, not the review. Hands-on impressions. I'm gonna go back to E3 2018, and I remember when was the game changer, not only for that game, but also us as the fan of the Division, is when Julian was on stage at the pre E3 event. We were sitting down, and when he said Endgame, raid, and also free content for the whole year, that's when I was like, yo, this is a game changer. We interviewed him, one of the first interviews. Julian always mentioned that every time we have him on a, but that was a game changer, man. And now throughout the year that we've been going to events, checking out the Division and everything, and I finally got the game. I have to say, man, the only thing I could come up with that's like closest when it comes to like content is maybe Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Because nowadays, games have to really have a lot of content, man. $59.99 is pretty expensive, man, after a while, buying games all the time. But yo, it is freaking amazing the amount of stuff that you could do in this game, man. So I just want to start with just saying that first, and we're gonna talk about a lot of things about the game. But before we go with the hands-on impressions, anything you guys want to say about that? Like just the journey we went through, going to all these events and meeting up with the developers throughout the year before the game came out. Paris?
I mean, for me, it's kind of like you said. Well, really, it goes back to 2016 for me. It goes back to when Pete and I went to that preview event out in Los Angeles for the Division 1 and interviewed the creative director at that time. And, you know, I've told this story many times before, but when we started talking about, I asked questions about Endgame and he didn't really have an answer for me. I just mentally checked out on the Division 1. I just did. And it wasn't something that I was super excited for. It wasn't something that I was very interested in because I just felt like the content wasn't going to be there for me. You know, flash forward to June of 2018, and we meet Julian Garrity, and for the first time he was ever able to publicly talk about the Division 2 was with us. And he starts it off with Endgame, and he mentions 8-person raid and, you know, all that went in, and we instantly got excited about it. And, you know, we played that demo at E3, and just the journey to go to Red Storm, to then go to the actual Division 2 preview event, playing the private beta, playing the public beta, and here we are now with the final game in our hands, and we're playing it, and it's living up to that expectation that we had back in June of 2018. You know, and I know we'll get into this a little more, but I'm very impressed with it. I'll say this: if we start talking best games of 2019, it's on the list for sure, for me anyway. So I won't go too much into it. But Pete, anything you want to add?
And I think it's a great way to start that off, right? With how you and I started off with this journey, me going all in on the Division as a title, as a franchise in general for Ubisoft. I saw the vision back then, and yes, as it's been covered many times by not just us but a lot of other outlets, you know, it had its stumbling blocks, and I think for all intents and purposes, it was necessary, right? Because we see what's happening with other titles, and I don't want to make this conversation and turn into that direction. But when you launch a brand new IP in the way that they have, for this game, they've done a phenomenal job in listening to the community, taking that feedback and making sure that it's 100% what people want. And I love the way that you have embraced the division as a whole. You've given the middle finger to your favorite baby over there in the back corner. Danny's loving it, and I love the way the Discord community has exploded with interactions, and people are jumping out. We've got the clans going on Xbox One and on PC. I'm waiting to see who pops up and creates the Gamertag Radio clan on PS4. And I love how just the overall community, not just ours, but the entire gaming community has just come full circle and come together as a result because of the division. And it's fun. We're streaming, we're playing with other players, we're playing with people that we don't normally play with. So I think it's great. I mean, we've gained people at least on our PC clan, we've gained people that I've played with as randoms. And they were like, oh, dude, let me check out what you guys have been doing. And they've joined up and been part of the clan now. I think it was JJ Gonzalez, I think, if you see him on the PC clan. That's one of them. I don't know if he's a listener, but him and I joined up. He saw that I had a clan. He joined up on PC, and he was like, hey, mind if I join? I was like, sure. Things like that. It's like they've done so many things. And, kudos to Massive, Julian Garrity, obviously creative director. The PR team over there at Ubisoft has done a phenomenal job. Reflections, NNC, and all of the other Ubisoft studios, because they all work together on all of their projects. Red Storm, Tony and Terry and those guys. Was bang up job, phenomenal, slow golf hand clap, and everything above. And it just got radio silence.
Oh, I thought Danny was going to jump in. Let me jump in. Let me jump in and say this. Let me jump in and say this. You brought up one point, Pete, that a couple things that I actually wanted to touch on when you said that. First, like you alluded to my other game that I really like to play. I tweeted out during the week that the best compliment that I can give to Division 2 is I'm not playing Destiny 2. And I freaking love Destiny, right? We know this since 2014. I've been playing that game and I love that game. There's new content out right now for Destiny 2, and I'm not playing it because I'm playing this game, because that's how much I'm liking what I played. And if you would have asked me that a year ago, I'd have laughed in your face. And I think that's a credit to Ubisoft as a whole, because another thing you alluded to was when you go through that prologue and at the very end, it gives you the Division 2 logo and it shows you the studios. It starts with Massive, Reflections, and on and on. And you see all the studios that have been involved within Ubisoft to make this game. And it's been such a collaborative effort for Ubisoft, the publisher, to put this out. This is such an ambitious title when you really start deep diving into what they've done in the open world, the activities that you have just in the main campaign, and then what you're going to get when you jump into the actual end game for the Division 2. And you think the fact that they got all of that to mostly work pretty gosh darn smooth at launch. I mean, of course, there's bugs. We've been saying this for the longest. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be issues, but nothing that's been truly game breaking at launch. Nothing server wise that people can't get in and actually play the game and enjoy it. The fact that that's all working from early access to when it officially launched on the 15th is a credit to Ubisoft. It really is. And this isn't, look, I'm taking my shield glasses off when I say this. This isn't, oh, we got to love Ubisoft. Oh, it's none of that. It's just, hey, props to them, because this could have been a freaking disaster and it wasn't. And they were able to pull it off. So kudos to Ubisoft. Kudos to Massive. Just kudos to Julian Garrity and that entire development team. The fact that even the bugs that are out right now, they're reacting to them on a pretty quickly. Not everything's not fixed, of course not, but they've acknowledged them. They're talking about it, active on the forums or active on social media. They're letting us know what their roadmap is to try and get some of these things resolved. And like I said, some of them they've already taken care of. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed, and I'll shut up because I'll talk forever. I'm impressed to the point where when I look at the Division 2 right now, this is the new gold standard. It is for these open world RPG, and I'm doing air quotes, looter shooter games. They've set a gold standard now for this, because this is how you launch these kind of games. You pack it full of content, you QA the hell out of it before it comes out, so that when we jump in, we have things to do. We aren't waiting to be promised, oh, down the road, you're going to get this. No, all of this stuff is available to you day one, and it's a smooth experience, whether you're on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation 4. Just credit to Massive and all of Ubisoft for being able to pull this off. I am highly impressed with what I've seen so far. You know, just kudos to them.
Now, very quick, I want to mention that I'm pretty far in the game, and I mentioned this to Paris and Pete. Right now, my gear is 364, 65, around there. No, I'm just mentioning it. War tier 3, I think. So the reason why I'm so far ahead is because it's not because I'm rushing it. I'm rushing the game. It's because I love the game so much, and right now, and I did this on purpose. I recorded episodes because I want to just focus on the Division, and I'm not working, so I have a lot of time to just play, and I just can't stop playing the game, man. I've been playing this nonstop. I also played with Arctic and a couple other community members. And at first, I played the game solo because when we got the game, there wasn't that many people that had the game at that time. We got it, I believe, was it on a Sunday or Monday? I can't remember exactly.
Monday. Early access. Well,
it went live early Monday access. For early access and content.
We got it midnight New Zealand on the 12th. Is when
yes. There you go. So there was not that many people playing, so I was just playing solo. And I know there was a couple questions on Discord and also on Twitter our listeners asking, we're like, is this game good for solo players? And I'll say yes, because the majority of times I was playing solo, and I will go to like matchmaking for like only the main missions, and sometimes if we get along pretty good with people that played at random, I'll go and we'll still continue. We'll do like side missions or other activities in the game. And that's why I think, in my opinion, that's why the raid, if they do this right, will work also for solo players. And I think that's the reason why in Destiny, Paris, let me finish. Paris, let me finish. This is my time to talk. This is my time to talk. You could talk whenever you want after I'm done. The reason why a lot of people didn't complete the raid on Destiny was because a lot of solo players don't have a lot of friends that probably has the game, so they couldn't really find other people to do the raid together. So yes, the percentage is pretty low to see how many people completed that in the game. I think with this, yes, it will work better with people that you know, of course, but you can't forget those that don't have a lot of friends online too, because right now we're just focusing is about our friends and our community, and that's it. No, there's other people that don't have friends, and I think just having that option that is also matchmaking, that's fine. You don't have to go to that route. What we could do, because we have a pretty good community, it's pretty big, we could just play with our friends and community. That's perfect. But we can't forget those, man, that don't have friends, man. And I think doing the stronghold matchmaking, doing the main missions matchmaking, it worked. And I even found I added a lot of new people, man. Like the community that I discovered so far in the game, I met a lot of cool people, man, playing it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's fine, man. I'm loving the game. I can't stop playing it. I can't stop playing it. So I know, Paris, you disagree, which is fine. You know, I understand that, but I think as a person that multiple people that hit me up asking about solo players, I think this will be great too for them too, man. They're not gonna feel left out. You know what I'm saying? So go for it.
I will simply say, because we don't need to waste a bunch of time on this topic,
Mm-hmm.
If this is anything like a Destiny raid or World of Warcraft raid, which I'm going to imagine it probably is, it would be like herding cats to try and get not 6, 8 people to work together as a team that don't know each other and could properly communicate to do a raid. So I will respectfully disagree with what you're saying. That's why there's these other activities in the game that you can matchmake on and play that way. But a raid is supposed to be the pinnacle of cooperative gameplay. And I personally will be disappointed if there's matchmaking in a raid, because that's not how it should work at all. But that's just my opinion. We can move on from that.
I just want to throw my hat in the ring real quick for that. I'd like to see 6-8, maybe a year, 6-8 months or maybe a year from now, the success rate between variable matchmaking in a raid versus, purposefully grouped up groups of people in the raid. I want to see the success rates to see if actually matchmaking works. Because while I agree with you, Paris, because you and I are battle tested raid veterans, right? When it's come to games like Destiny, I just want to see if it's possible. Like, it should work theoretically, right? From a technical perspective, matchmaking players should work. Whether it actually is successful in its delivery of it, will people be able to successfully play cooperatively in an effort like that and succeed, is a totally different situation. Which is why I want to see the numbers. I want to see the stats. Randomized matchmaking in raid, what's the success rate? X over 100, and then pre-populated teams going in purposefully to go into the raid as a group of 8 people and their success rate, and then just do the math between the two, see which one is more successful. There's going to be people who are like Sherpas, LFG style people who are going to go in and group up, but that's going to be interesting. I want to see how they actually play that. Are they going to have their own internal LFG type system, or are they going to depend on other third-party mechanics, such as whether it be a variable, one of those LFG sites, or people grouping up and randomizing on or people grouping up from via Discord or other groups. So should be interesting.
I'm fine with an internal LFG, and we really should move on from this, because I think we're wasting our time.
That's fine.
But I'm fine with an internal LFG where you're purposely getting certain requirements together to get 8 people to do a raid. But if just pure, like right now, the way it works in the game, just, hey, I'm going to start a raid, hit X for matchmaking. Hell no. Freaking disaster. I don't agree with it at all, but that's just me. We can move on.
Okay. All right, cool. Now, let's talk about your experience so far. The first few hours of the game. I already completed the campaign, and I'm loving. I just love the story, the whole things that you discovered in the game, certain things that the people that you meet in the game that will also unlock new side missions, new activities. I'm just loving it so much, man. So I want to hear this especially from you, Paris, you that really got into the Division 1, I think was at one point. Now that you finally got the Division 2, what's your thoughts so far of like the first few hours in the game? Because I believe you're like level 20 or something like that, right? Like you're still having a lot of activities you've been completing. So what are your thoughts about that? So what happened?
I'm listening. No, well, I'll just jump
laughing.
in. No.
You're laughing because I'm saying that you're taking your time. You don't want to like rush this. So it's the truth.
No, never mind. I'll just go. So yeah, I'm not at end game right now. I'm level 24, I believe, is where I'm at. I still have a bunch of main missions left to do, side missions. I've taken the approach of I don't want to rush through this game at all. I'm taking my time. Now, I will fully admit the story to me is I'm barely paying attention to it. It's not my focus on the game. Whatever. But I'm having fun just going into the world and just exploring. Like a great example is I was playing with Khalif from Spawn on Me the other day, and we just loaded in. And for the first hour, we didn't have a set activity or thing we wanted to do. we just randomly explored the world and was just finding random things to do and having a blast just doing that, just encountering the AI naturally out in the world, fighting them, finding like contaminated zones and doing the puzzles on that to, get the information out, running into a random bounty here or there, just those things before we actually like, hey, you think we ought to do a mission? Yeah, let's go do a mission. And to me, that's the sweet sauce for the game. The fact that that open world has enough intriguing things to do just on its own, where you can basically make your own story, and one thing that I've been doing is I've been capturing all my gameplay footage while I play. So I'll go through, and if I remember like a funny moment or something I'll go in and I'll just clip it out really quick and throw it up on Twitter or something like that, and just throw a Division 2 hashtag on it. And it's like I'm kind of just slowly but surely telling my story of the Division 2 as I play through it. I'm pretty sure I'll hit level 30 by the end of this weekend, and then I'll start advancing through the world tier stuff. I think a smart thing that Massive did, which, I know some people don't agree with, is the fact that World Tier 5 is not available yet. So it's almost a thing of, it's like, hey, everybody slow down, smell the roses. You don't need to rush to the absolute finish line just yet. Take your time. Now, if I had to guess, next Friday is when they'll unlock Tidal Basin, which is going to then allow you to get in World Tier 5. Then they give people a week in World Tier 5. Then they say, okay, now you can do the raid, experience the pinnacle of what this game has to offer. And that gives everybody an overall 2 weeks to just play the game. So it's not what we've seen in the past, like with Destiny and everything, where new content comes out, hey, the raid's available 3 days later, and everyone just rushes spending, 18 hours a day just playing the game to get to the end, and then they're completely exhausted, and only the people that don't have a job, or it's their job to stream or play on YouTube or whatever, they're the only ones that can experience that in-game content day one. Whereas I think if I see what Massive is doing by giving that 2 week approach, they're going to allow everyone to play at their pace to be able to experience this. It's been fantastic. Another thing, because I'm not in the Gamertag Radio clan, just full disclosure on that, I'm in another clan right now, and the clan features have been fantastic. Being able to have, because I'm playing on PC, to have clan chat on the PC. So while I'm playing, we're communicating back and forth has been great. And just the leveling system that goes with that has been great. It's been a very fun social experience for me. And like I said, I don't feel compelled to rush at all. I've been going into Dark Zone solo and with a couple other people, and just exploring that side of it has been great. I've not touched PvP at all, by the way. I've not done any of Conflict. I don't really know if I will, unless there's some loot incentive for me to go do it, which, by the way, speaking of the loot, I love how Washington, D.C. is just littered with loot. Absolutely littered with loot. There's something to find in every nook and cranny of the open world. Not to mention, when I get a drop in the game, I actually get excited about it. When I see that purple or that yellow glow, I'm like, oh, and I run over to it, because I'm like, oh my God, this is exciting for me. What am I going to get? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But even with that, I'm progressing through the game. I'm constantly flipping through weapons. I'm testing things out. I'm testing mods out. I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm not even at the end game yet. And I shouldn't be, because the game hasn't been out a week yet. So that's a good thing. I don't feel like I'm already running out of things to do. I know there's still a ton more things for me to do in the game, and I can play it at my pace. So that's what has me excited about the Division 2 more than anything.
What about you, Pete?
Well, to speak on what Paris was saying, I don't know if I'm as big a fan of maybe the way the loot has been dropping. Yes, I understand that, they're early on in the game right now. They give you a lot of loot and because it's early on, it allows you to play around with the amount of loot, with the different loot that you have. It gives you an opportunity to learn, okay, maybe the LMG is what I want to play. Maybe I want to play AR. Maybe I want to play SMG. I want to play shotguns. There's a lot of varied weapons that drop, but sometimes I kind of feel that it's a bunch of junk / useless drops, because and maybe this is just because it's me, right? But I tend to favor a specific style of gameplay. And while the amount of drops that occur now may allow people to just, switch around, see if they maybe like an SMG. I actually figured out that I like the SMG, but I don't, but it didn't work in the gameplay that we were doing. It just, sometimes I feel like there's almost too much useless / junk loot, and maybe I just need to keep working more on crafting and building up and using those mats that drop, or from deconstructing mods or weapons and stuff like that. Quick note, do not crush your purple stuff, because apparently some of those purple gear mods are actually better than the high-end yellow ones. So a little public service announcement there. But as far as the amount of loot, I think it'll favor those that play longer. And I think this was mentioned already previously from one of our interviews with the folks at Redstorm, that yes, it's a progressive style loot system. So the more time and effort you put into the game, the better your loot will be. It may not always be what you're specifically wanting in that particular moment, but it will, it takes time. It's a grinder. It's a looter shooter. It's one of the main tenets of the game style. So, yeah, man, if you see it, go for it, man. It's a lot of fun. And I'm curious, Paris, what's your favorite setup right now in the game?
I don't have one,
you don't have
and
one.
That's kind of the point. I am constantly switching through the different weapons and just early builds to kind of see what's fun. I'm switching up my skills to try and see, do I like the turret or the drone, or the hive, all that. That's where I'm at right now in the game, because I'm not in the end game. So I'm not specifically focusing on, all right, I need to create this build. I feel like this is the time of the game for me to try to touch everything, to see what I like, so that when I do get to the end game and I am trying to prepare for a raid, all right, I know I want to go with this build. Because like I said, right now is about, we're still in the grind mode. We're still in the level up mode. So I don't want to fall in love with one particular gun or build and not touch them all. That's where I am. Again, game ain't been out a week. So I feel like I don't want to focus on anything. So again, I respectfully disagree with what you're saying about the loot, because to me, that's the whole point. I don't feel like anything I pick up is junk right now. I feel like everything I pick up is a new opportunity to try out something different or new. So that's where I'm at with the game right now.
And the thing is, Pete, if there's stuff that you don't like, I just donate it. Part of my projects,
right?
That helps out too. That part, I love that, because there's so much stuff to do, man. Like when it comes to there was one time, like for like a whole hour, I was just concentrating on that, just the settlements. I want to like upgrade it and donate as much as I can. I was doing that for like a good hour, man, without doing side missions and missions. I was just doing just that. That part is pretty cool. Also, let me ask you guys, from the three factions so far, besides Blast Tusk, which of the three of the factions do you like the most? So far for me, I just love True Sons. They're freaking aggressive as hell, man, in the game. Love that a lot. But what about you guys? Which one's your favorite so far from the campaign?
I want to say they're the Outcasts. They're the ones with the hoodie without the sleeves. I think the yellow red hoodie. I think that's because that's the only way I can really tell right now is those are my favorite ones. I think those are the ones, Paris, when you and I were playing yesterday. We had actually, no, it wasn't you and I. It was I was playing with one of our community members, Bosox MD. We came up against like an elite convoy, and they just kept climbing up out of the ground, and they were all wearing these yellow hoodies, and they kept attacking us, and all of them were yellow bars, and it was like so difficult because I was a lowly level 17, and we were all upscaled to like level 28, 29. And so it was like everybody's just getting dropped and getting picked up and dropped and getting picked up. And it was so chaotic. But I think right now, that's one of the things I want to talk about. The factions and the AI. I love the way that Massive and the rest of the teams have worked it so that you shoot at them, they don't just hide. There's some that are aggressive. They run at you. There's some that will flank you to the left. There's so many times, Paris, you and I were playing yesterday. We were underground, and next thing you know, like we're like, okay, we think we have this whole thing got. And then we're getting flanked from the sides from people that we may have missed or we didn't see. And then we're getting dropped. And it's like, wait a minute, where do these people come from? That's not how that's not what we're trained, quote unquote, in games like this to experience. We're not used to those things. And I think that's a phenomenal asset to this franchise. I mean, it's something that's probably what we've always wanted, but never really expected from a developer to actually deliver to gamers. So to see them actually step outside and say, we're not just going to throw hordes at people, we're going to make them semi-smart, and we're going to have them either flank or run and reposition and wait for backup to come, which is another thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, you know what? This is the closest to AI from Halo 1, like that type of vibe I get when I play it. But yeah, go ahead, Paris.
No, I was just going to say one scenario that happened early on. I told you guys about this offline. Is I was playing with Khalif. God, I forget who else we were playing with. Anyways, we were on a side mission, and it was in like an office, like inside a courtyard. We're on the bottom floor, and it was like 3 levels. And the AI was the hyenas. The AI was on the 3rd floor shooting at us, and we were kind of staying on the bottom floor in one spot, just shooting up. One of the hyenas was smart enough with the AI from the 3rd floor to come all the way downstairs and then flank us from behind. And I that was like a drop the mic moment from there. I go, oh my God, this AI is fantastic that he didn't just stay up on his area, on his floor. He was smart enough to know to go all the way down to us to try and get us from behind. That's one thing. If we get the opportunity, I would love to speak with Massive about with their AI team about how that's developed, because each faction attacks you different. And to answer your question, Danny, yeah, I like the True Sons. They've been my favorite of the 3 factions so far. Again, I haven't encountered the Black Tusk in the final game yet, but I just love the way that they attack you. I love the fact that they'll get prone on the ground and shoot you. They also flank you. They can be very aggressive, and like Pete, you were saying when we were playing last night, it was like if you miss one of them, they will flank, come around, come from behind. You got to have your head on a swivel, and that's again the sweet sauce. The fun thing about it is I don't feel like I'm just it's not just dumb AI that's a bullet sponge standing in one spot, waiting for me to headshot it. They're actually actively doing things to get you out of cover, to force you to move, to force you to think about your strategy on how you're going to attack them. And is it perfect? Yeah. No, of course it's not perfect. But there's enough of those moments that you're like, well, damn, I wasn't expecting that. And to me, that's the best compliment you can give to their AI, that they're constantly surprising you in unique ways.
Yeah, and even when you go to a control point and you call for backup, even your backup, the AI is really, really smart. Yeah, man. They did a phenomenal job with that part too, man.
That was something Julian said when we're at Julian Garrity, when we're at the preview event. Something he said to me, saying that really, he wasn't talking about the Black Tusk. He was talking about the original 3 faction. He goes, really, there's a 4th faction, and he goes, the 4th faction are the settlement, the people, the actual people of Washington, D.C., because they're fighting for their survival as well. And he was pointing out that you will see that in the game where, once you capture a control point or a settlement and they're being attacked, they're gearing up and fighting too. They're going out getting supply. The whole thing. It's like there's this living world that goes on without you. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the funny thing about it, because we all technically have our own instances of the world, and we can obviously hop back and forth when we're co-opting together. But my instance of the world is unique to me. It's not like Pete's, it's not like yours or anyone else's. And in that world, if this was like Wreck-It Ralph or something like that, where the characters were alive, they're fighting a war constantly. And I just happen to jump in every now and again and help where I can. And when you look at it from that point of view, dude, again, just bravo to Ubisoft, man, for being able to create this, because I was not expecting this a year ago. I really wasn't.
Yeah. Even when you check out the map, you see the people going from one control point to the other, like they're taking supplies, and you see their path, where they're going. So that's why I'm looking at the section of the map. I'm like, all right, you know what? I think it's time for me to get this control so they could continue to walk and take more supplies, because honestly, that also helps out on your projects and a lot of other things that you didn't even know that's going on the side, man. which is awesome. I think that's really, really
Another cool thing is when you're looking on your map, you can actually see convoys for the enemies, for factions.
Yes.
It's not just yours. So you can see that and be like, you know what? I'm feeling myself. I'm going to get a little gassed, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to disrupt their convoy. I'm going to take their loot. That actually helps. It actually benefits your settlements because now they don't have to worry about it. They can actually start taking their supplies off the stuff. So there's little things, there's little nuances to the factions and stuff like that. Hey, again, like we've all been saying, man, kudos, man. It's almost as if they've thought of everything, right?
Yeah. Even this part, dude. Like when you go to the progression part of the game from your character and you see all the stuff that you've been, there's also other things that I discovered the other day. I'm like, I didn't even know that was even there. There's videos where some people had like hidden video cameras and they recorded some of the factions, and you will get to learn more about the faction. And even one of them, to me, in my opinion, I think there's a hint of like stuff that we're probably going to get in the future of DLC content or maybe raids that's outside of Washington, D.C. That'll give you hints like stuff that's happening outside of the city. There's audio logs, so much stuff that you could spend hours and hours without even playing the game, just reading all the stuff that you've been discovering. And you will learn more about not only the faction, but everything that's going on about the characters. It's really good. I don't know if you guys been doing that too, right?
Yeah, I haven't actually dived into it yet. I've seen it, like I've gone in and seen it in the in the menus and everything, but because I'm still just playing through. But like even the other thing with the deck of 52, the 52 world bosses that are out there, I've been encountering some of them. And again, it's just random in the game. It's not like they're always sitting in a set spot. They just randomly appear. They're on their own loop doing their thing, and then you encounter them. They drop their playing card, so to speak, and it has its own lore on that as well. And a good friend of ours helped write all of those, so that makes it even more awesome to know that people we know or that are helped making this game had a part in it. And yeah, there's so many great little nuances, like even just the quality of life stuff. And I can only speak to the PC. Like you can change your UI for the inventory to a grid style in the game, or even from the keyboard, because I know one of the complaints is you have to basically log out of the game and then you have to quit it to get back to your desktop. No, you can go into chat and just do a hashtag quit or /quit. You're out, done. Just little tiny things like that. And Pete even said you can do the /logout. That works too. Just
I
like
actually guessed
because
I couldn't remember what the command was, and I was just like, well, F it. When it did chat /logout, and it took me back to the main menu, so that way I could change, or I can. And it's a great way to like leave team if you can't. If it's actually a lot quicker to just do that instead of like going through the menu. And that's one of the things, unfortunately for me, and I think it's kind of been echoed. It's funny, echo in the game.
Now,
hold on a second, but the one thing that bothers me is like if I'm like 12 layers deep into my menu because I'm trying to figure out which weapon or mod I want to put onto a thing, I have to spam my escape key to get back to my gunplay. It's like I have to go into reverse to get out of all of the menus to get back into the gameplay, as opposed to just being able to press a button and go right back into gameplay. So I wish there was a way that, and maybe I just haven't found it out. If somebody else has seen it, let me know. Is there a way to get straight out of your menus and right back into the gameplay, or do you have to just sit there and spam escape to get back into your gun to the actual game, right? Like once you've been into the menus to like change a weapon or a mod, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, again, these are quality of life things that we obviously got to bring our feedback on to find out if they exist in the game already or if it's something they could change. Which, just to add on to that, one thing I was going to bring up, and I'm gonna take my shield glasses off for this one again. We're obviously gassing the game up right now because we love what we're playing and we think it's fantastic. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not. It is not. Like I said, there are bugs in the game that there are things they need to address and fix. I know one point of contention right now has been the time to kill, like in the optimized dark zone. It seems to be super short. So there's been a debate. Is it too short? Is it fine? Like people are getting one-shotted. Like it doesn't come down to your skill level. It comes down to, do I have the beefiest piece of gear and the best build, and if I get the jump on you, there's no way you're going to be able to counter it, and you're dead. So that's an argument for another day. Again, the game's only been out a week, so we don't know how that's going to go. But I do see that as a major concern, not only for the occupied dark zone, but for PvP that's not normalized, things like that. You know what I mean? You could argue that the story is still lackluster. It could have been better. I mean, you could argue the way that the world tiers work, that with the gear score, locking certain activities down, that you can't tackle them until you reach a certain score. Is that a right approach? It's not a perfect game by any means, but even let me bring it positive for a second. Even one thing that was annoying the hell out of me in the beta is actually something I enjoy doing now, is answering call for backup. I was doing that for like a couple hours one day, where that's all I did. Anytime somebody asked for help, I would jump into their thing, help them out, would wave and say, okay, thanks, bye, and then go back to my world and do my thing. Now, I fully admit, because if this person is online and sees my name, he's probably cursing me out right now. So I answered a call for backup the other day, and this guy wanted to actually be chatty with me and talk and wanted to hang out and explore the world together. And that is not what I wanted to do. So after I helped him, I just quietly hit /quit and got the hell out of there, because I did not want to help. I didn't want to help him no more. So he's probably, this guy's a freaking a-hole. But the fact that that's even there is an awesome thing. And it's not as annoying as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, it's hard for me to say too many negative things right now, because really the negatives for me have been the bugs, and they haven't been absolutely game breaking yet. And Massive is addressing them and trying to fix them. But of course, the game's not perfect. Again, the tactical cover shooter based thing is not for everyone. I do think there's some annoying things with the way the cover works in here, where I'm not sticking to cover sometimes. I'm thinking I'm in cover and I'm not. But these are all things that, as long as we're communicating and providing feedback, they can fix. But the actual content is there. I am happy with the content that I'm seeing in the game right now. So that's a positive thing. Another thing, good friend of ours, Tanya, she had tweeted at Julian Garrity about, when you do the creative player, I am an African-American and I wanted to create Angela Davis with 20-foot afro. And I couldn't do that because natural hair isn't really there for people of color right now, right? She tweeted at him about it. I was watching the State of Game. He was on it. He addressed it on State of the Game, that's something that they want to add into the game, to have more natural hairstyles in the game, which is awesome, because the second there's an afro in the game, I'll put an afro on my character. So, yeah, so again, that's another nitpick I would have, but that's something at least they've publicly acknowledged and they're going to try and address.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, actually, a quick PSA for players, because you mentioned the cover, and I just found this out yesterday. If you've got Tobii eye support, which is it's an eye tracker that you can set up for your computer. It's a peripheral. You can actually turn off for more immersion. You can actually turn off the visual aspect of it, and instead of instead of actually having to physically do it, you can use your Tobii eye tracker to move your character to cover in the game once it's been configured. So if you've got a Tobii eye tracker peripheral, and that's something that you want to do in this game, that's pretty dope.
Yep. Also, I want to mention this. So yesterday, I was online and I was checking out the clan, and I noticed that Arctic was on, right? So he was like maybe level 20 or something around that time. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to join Arctic. So I joined Arctic, and remember, I'm ahead, right? I noticed when I went to Arctic, we now both on the same level, and we still continue to play the game. I was still getting gear from his world, but it's cool how people will never feel left out. Like, you could join friends, or their friends could join, and whoever is the highest level, they will match it with everybody that joins, so everybody could play together. So I think that part, was great that they added that feature in the game, man.
The level scaling of the characters,
perfect.
Yeah, I was mentioning
really,
earlier.
Really
I was a level 17 going in, and I randomly joined up with a friend, and they were all level. Well, the biggest guy, the highest level character was level 28, and I found out, like, after like 10 minutes of playing with these guys, that two other guys were like 18 and 19. So like he was basically Sherpaing us, right? It was shout out to Bosox if he's watching or listening. And so he was just like, yeah, come on through. So like next thing you know, I look down and I'm basically level 28. Right. I'm playing as a level 28. And unlike other games where you get power scaled up, but you're basically useless. At this point, I was actually able to functionally contribute to the game. It wasn't like I was just, might as well have been shooting peas or spitballs. I was actually doing damage. I was contributing, and it makes the game a lot more fun and allows you to not have to be ignored or ignore your friends who may be lower level. It's a great way for you to still be able to play with your friends, do other missions that you may not be ready for or leveled up for, participate and actually play. So it's a great way. Great game.
So I'm wondering, once the raid gets unlocked later on, is it going to be also the same thing for that, to scale everybody this close to the same level or gear score? So everybody could play, you still won't feel left out once that happens. You think that's possible too for that, or no? Anybody?
Repeat that one again, because I didn't catch.
Okay,
I didn't catch the
so
question.
let's say the raid gets up, right, and there's people maybe in our clan that it's not up there yet.
You have to be X level, man. It's kind of like the strong
gear 400, whatever.
It's like the strongholds. You have to be a certain level. You can't get power scaled into the raid or the stronghold. You have to actually be of level to enter it.
Yeah, because that happened to me too. I tried to join somebody else's game to do the stronghold, because I only needed like maybe 2 more points just to unlock it, and it wasn't available for me to play. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, those are hard limited. You have to be level 28 or level 30 to actually get into the strongholds, and I'm fairly certain that's how it's going to be for the raid. It's been like that for other raids and other titles as well. You have to actually be of level, because your weapons have to. There's no reason for there. That's the whole purpose, right? That is your quote unquote end game. You need to be leveled. You need to be high level to actually participate in those.
Okay.
As well as your gear score.
Oh, one thing I meant to mention before I forget is the bounties. Like, we had started the bounties last night with Pete and Dev. Woo! That was not, I shouldn't say surprisingly hard, but an enjoyable experience with the difficulty that came with trying to grab one of those bounties, man. Because good googly moogly, they were coming from everywhere. And yeah, I mean, we really had to buckle down and think about the strategy that we're doing to take down the target for the bounty, which was cool. But have you guys also encountered in the world where I've run into this guy randomly out in the world in different spots, and he'll give me a bounty on the fly, and then you go to that bounty and you take him? Dude, I've had some of the most epic failures with those stupid bounties where I get aggressive thinking, okay, I'm gonna just take him out, and then I die, and then that's it. You lose the bounty, you fail.
Is that the one? His name, I think, is called the Snitch. Is that the one?
No, the Snitch is actually one of the deck of 52.
The deck 52. Okay, yeah.
I thought he was the one that gives out the deck of 52. He's not a part of it.
I don't know. This guy was in an alleyway with a truck behind him, and I was running in the middle of an alley heading towards I think it was an agent unknown activity, and I saw him, and he was like, "Hey, agent, would you like to wrap up a bounty for me?" And I was like, "Wait a minute,
sure."
I was like, well, excuse me, talk to me more about this bounty, sir. And he was like, "Yeah, I've got this bounty for, I forgot what character," and it actually made me go back into a building that I had unlocked and emptied out previously from a different mission. And he, there he was. He was one of the bounty players. So. And it actually ended up, if I recall correctly, that bounty was actually one of the deck of 52 characters.
Dope. Well, it's good, man. Overall, man, the game is phenomenal. I'm loving it so far. And if you're listening to GTR and you're planning to get the game, or you just purchased the game a couple of days ago, make sure to join our clan, Gamertag Radio. Right now, we have it available for Xbox. And how many members already joined for the PC?
You guys know? I'd have to log into my client
right now.
I got checked this morning.
Anyone? Pete?
Oh,
Paris?
sorry, I was muted. I have not checked. At last check, I think it was 19 last night. But I have to check. I haven't checked this morning.
Yeah, last night I checked and we were like number 24 already right now. So I just I was like getting excited. All right, we're getting members now joining. That's really cool. So anybody that has a PlayStation 4 version would like to create a Gamertag Radio clan there. Let us know, make it happen, and that will be cool. Because I know we have some community members that purchase that game for the PlayStation. I don't want them to feel left out. I want them to also be part of the experience. And the cool thing is that every time you're doing activities, we all contributed to the clan, man. And I remember us. I was playing one of the missions, and I noticed it said clan level up. I'm like, oh snap! So the clan, man, be more active, man. That's cool. Really, really cool, man. So I know once you unlock certain levels, there's gonna be features that also gonna be available in the future. Like I'm trying to I think by now we're there, clan level 4, where we're now gonna have weekly bounties events only for bounty activities only for the clan members, and it changes every week. So I think by now we're in level 4, I believe. I'm not sure, but that's a cool feature that I like too in the game, and the clans. So anything else about the clans before we move forward for you guys?
Confirmed. It is his name is the Snitch.
The Snitch. Okay. All right. There you go. All right. So I mean, anything else, man? We talked about this game for a good almost 60 minutes here, man. The game. Is good,
I just feel like it's going to be an ongoing conversation. Again, these early thoughts. I mean, we're not going to hit everything. I mean, we've even seen kind of what their monetization is going to be with the loot crates and things like that, and not something I'm going to invest into at all, but it is there. Like I said, no game's going to be perfect. I'm sure we're going to use, as we venture further into it. Danny, I know you've seen more than people. You've already hit world tier stuff and done the strongholds and everything. So again, it's just going to be an ongoing conversation for me. I am enjoying what I'm seeing because, and I can't take credit for this because it was Game Informer. They were talking about the Division 2, where one of the writers said when he compares this, and I'm just going to say it, when he compares this to Anthem, he doesn't have to make excuses for why he's enjoying the game. He gets to just enjoy it because it's not about the promise of what's coming in the future. It's about what's already available to you now. You know what I mean? And I think that is the good thing about the Division 2. Yeah, we know there's a year 1 roadmap and there's content coming, but I don't have to go, oh man, I can't wait till that drops. I'm just focused on what I already got in my hands right now. What's here today, what I know is coming right now, versus worrying about future DLC or future promises for changes. What we have today has me very excited for the future of the franchise, of the IP, for what's to come in year 1 and beyond, because I'm enjoying myself today and not looking at it going, oh man, I see a great game here. If only they could change X, Y, and Z. I don't have that complaint right now with the Division 2, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. You, Pete, before we wrap it up?
I think he said it all. I mean, at this point, just keep adding. Just keep doing what you're doing. They've done such a phenomenal job with adding, things to do for everybody. You don't have to be a hardcore player to enjoy it. You could be a casual. If you want to spend 9, 10, 12 hours playing the game, there's plenty of stuff for you to do. If you only have 3 or 4 hours a week to devote to it, or maybe 1 hour, there's things to do for everyone, regardless of your play style or of your availability to do it. So, join the clan, play with others that are similar to you and or your game style. If you want to play more hardcore, there's more than enough. There's more than enough to do for everybody. So, hey man, just take your time, enjoy the game for what it is, and have fun. There's no need to rush and spend. I know some people, some streamers were like, they stream for 38 hours straight to get to level 30, and they're like level 45 in a DZ or whatever. And hey, if that's your prerogative, that's your prerogative. Enjoy what you do and have fun. That's all that matters.
Yep. Yeah, maybe later on this week, I'm probably going to focus more on Dark Zone because I haven't been there that long. I've just been doing the other activities and campaign. That's all I've been doing. So hopefully that changes this week for me. But Again, join our clan. Just search for Gamertag Radio, and you can join. And it's available. It's open. Anybody could join right now. So, all right. So later this week, there's a lot of things happening in San Francisco. GDC. I know there's going to be press conferences. One is from that I'm definitely going to be looking out for is Google, where they're going to be the new gaming console they've been working on. So I'm going to be checking out that. I'm probably going to have a couple of daily conversations this week. I'm not sure. It all depends if Pete and Paris are available for this week. But just stay tuned, Gamertag Radio. It's going to be a lot of fun, So head over to gamertagradio.com, put your comments and feedback. Also, you could find us, subscribe to any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio, and it will be available there, man. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up here. Until next time, we're out. Peace. Cool. An hour and 2 minutes.
All right. I want to do a quick after show because I want to talk about the freaking disaster that is Anthem.
Oof. Let's go for it. This is a Twitch exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much on the actual podcast or even on social media. I try to bite my tongue as much as I can, but dude,
yeah.
What was EA thinking? Seriously, what were they thinking putting out? Because every day there's something freaking new that's wrong with this game, right? It ain't getting better. It keeps getting worse. So much so that, you know, the community folks for Anthem, which I know, and they're great people, got to go on Reddit and was like, dude, if you're going to be this hostile and negative to us, the developers aren't going to want to engage anymore and talk about the game. It's like we've reached that point with Anthem right now, to where Paul Tassi even put out an article on Forbes, because it's been pretty much confirmed that all the grinding that you're doing for weapons and gear in Anthem don't matter, because even the worst game in the gun is going to be your most powerful game. It doesn't matter. You're not getting anything that helps you other than to get a stupid perk or the name of a gun. The actual things that you're getting don't matter in the game. You know, it doesn't matter to try and grind Grandmaster 1, 2, or 3. You know, nothing in the game that you do right now matters. And it's like, what the hell were you thinking putting this game out in this state? Let's not even talk about all the game breaking bugs. Let's just talk about the actual content of the game, the gameplay loop, the reason that you actually log in and play. I'm not saying it's not fun for certain people, because I'm sure it is, but after what we've just been playing the past week with the Division 2, when I compare it to what I've played with Anthem, it's not even close, man. Not even close. It's not even in the same league right now. And you can't tell me that people at BioWare, and matter of fact, I know this, that people at BioWare and EA didn't know what people were going to think about what this game currently is as far as Anthem goes when they launched it. And they launched it anyways. Dude, I've been saying it forever. Why did this game come out in February 2019? There's no way in hell this game should have come out in February 2019. It needed at least another 6 months, probably a year of development time. Again, I want Jason Schreier or someone to find out the real story about the development of this game, because it's very apparent that it started over at some point, and it started over very recently. There's no way this has been in development for 6 years. There's no way this game's been in development for 2 years. The only thing that they got right in this game was the flying, because the world is maneuvered. Like someone had put on Reddit where they showed all the promotional material, the E3 reveal, everything that they had been showing as recently as up until December of 2018 for what Anthem was going to be, and all of it was a lie. Damn near all of it was a lie. None of that stuff made it to the final game. So this might be the biggest disaster we've ever seen in gaming. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not saying this to hate any developers at BioWare or any of that kind of stuff, because look, these dudes want to make a fantastic game. I get it. I just feel like they didn't have enough time to make the game that they wanted to make, and they just rushed some shit out the door, and here we are. And then, you know, you got certain people out there that want to freaking do the Daffy Duck tap dance and defend this crap when it's horrible I uninstalled it from my PC. I will not play this game. I absolutely will not. And I'm saying that of a point that, yeah, EA had me come out to BioWare. They had me give feedback. I did all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is a great game when it's not, because it's a freaking disaster. I wouldn't recommend anybody spending one red freaking nickel on this game, because this goes to show that like I said, when I talk about the QAing of the Division 2, you see the minimal problems that it had at launch. Who the hell QA'd Anthem? Nobody. You can't tell me there was a real QA team that sat down with Anthem and properly QA'd that game, because I know I spent X amount of hours with it over a few day period, you know, back sometime when, and I realized, holy shit, this game needs a lot of work. So you can't tell me there's been anyone QAing this game saying, yep, it's ready for launch, go ahead and put it out. It should have been freaking delayed. It's disappointing, you know, not to mention you look at what EA does with, you put Apex out before it, you knew the Division 2 was coming, you know Battlefield Firestorm is coming, you throw this shit in the middle of it and it freaking tanks. Every video I see on YouTube or wherever, people on social media, Reddit, no one has anything positive to say about it. It's always an excuse. It's always an excuse for why they like the game. I'm sick of seeing that. Don't give me an excuse for why you like it. You should just enjoy it for what it is. I get it. Enjoy whatever the hell you want, because it's your money. But when no one can have a positive thing to say about the game, everything's about, well, this is broken, that is broken. But that's all I ever see with Anthem, and it drives me nuts. And I know I'm just absolutely ranting at this point, and I know people are going to be mad at me because I'm speaking my mind.
Get off my lawn.
It's the freaking truth. It's the truth. I play video games to enjoy them, to have fun with them with my friends. Anthem is not an enjoyable experience for me. It is a frustrating experience of a game that is halfway through its development, and they released it anyways in a broken state, and everything about it is freaking effed up. Like, I'm gonna give you this example again. I'm gonna compare it directly to the Division 2. What's the joke I say when we're playing all the time? We'll come out of a mission or whatever, and we come out into the world, and I go, wow, no loading screens, because every damn thing you do in Anthem is a freaking loading screen. The fact that well, in some instances not. I'm not even gonna go that far, but the fact that I can't look at my loot drop immediately, I got to go back to dead ass Fort Tarsus every freaking time to go look at my loot or to change out my gear is freaking dumb. Why would you release the game in that state? It's frustrating. It almost makes me mad. That's why I don't like talking about it, because when I do start talking about it, I get freaking mad, because it's like, it's 2019. Why is this kind of game coming out right now in 2019? Why is BioWare's name associated with this game? This is something that would have been acceptable maybe back in 2007, 2008, but in 2019, no freaking way. Not especially. We've already had the original Destiny. We've had Destiny 2. We've had the Division. And this is what you put out? It looks archaic. This is not acceptable to me. And this is why this game is tanking. Epic. This is why everything now is an argument on Reddit, and I feel so bad for the community managers for that game, because they have to constantly defend bullshit, because the game's bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. That game should not have freaking come out, and it sucks that in 2019 people got to make excuses for this kind of game. But with all that said, if you're out there and you're watching this and you're giving me the middle finger right now going, F you, dude, I enjoy it, knock yourself out. But there's no freaking way I will ever waste my time with a game like Anthem again. And I'm freaking done, because you can't tell me they're going to fix this in the next year. There's no way. No freaking way they can fix this game to make it compelling enough that I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to install Anthem and start all over again. The story stinks. The world is tiny. The UI is horrible. It has game-breaking bugs. The weapons are uninspired. The only thing about Anthem that is good is the flying. Everything else in that game is freaking broken, and they know it. Yeah, I'm. You know what? And after this, I'm never talking about this game again. I'm done. I'm absolutely done.
I know there was one part. Somebody posted an image on Twitter, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. But it was like they went to a location, and it says testing. Like, I think they just left in the game. I think that was there for just as a test, and they forgot to remove it. Like, are you serious? Who was testing this game?
Yeah,
man?
they left a placeholder.
Temporary
in the asset.
placeholder asset. Yeah, horrible. Again, who the hell QA'd that game? Who? Who was QAing that game? And I'm being dead serious. Look, I'm 45 years old, married with 3 kids, so I don't give a frick if I'm saying this. You're being too toxic, Paris. I don't care, because this is the truth. It is the absolute truth. Who QA'd this game at EA and BioWare? That is an honest question that I really want to know. I really want to know who's the QA team for this game, because there's no one that's on that QA team that said, "Yep, boss, seal of approval. Go ahead and launch it on the 22nd of February. It's ready."
Okay,
Nobody said that. Nobody.
You and I, Paris, actually talked about this right as we were going. I think right before our first gameplay, or right as we went live yesterday evening to play.
Yeah.
To play. And you said something to that effect, like they still launched the game knowing that it was in the condition that it was, and it wasn't just one person, because in a title like this, it's in a AAA title, and I'm using quotes for AAA because I don't even know if Anthem could be considered a AAA title.
It's not.
There had to have been a group of people that approved it from top to bottom, that gave it the okay, because I hate that studios in general, studios as a whole, could be potentially shut down as a result of the poor performance or the lackluster effort that was delivered in this title. Who in those groups were, and those people, I don't want them to get fired, but like they should be reprimanded sternly, harshly, because I don't want to tell people how to do their jobs, because I am not a game developer. I can't tell you. It's immensely difficult, right? And I give them credit where credit is due. But there was a group of people that approved this from the development studio all the way over to the publishers that said, we're going to launch this. Is there anything a developer can do as a tool for them to say no and not get fired for telling their bosses no?
But that's the thing, Pete, and that's what I'm saying. This isn't about the developers that are actually making this game. Because again, no developer goes into making a game, hey, I'm going to make the shittiest game I possibly can. No one's going to say that. They're going to go, I want to make the best possible game that I can. And Danny's brought this point up many times, where a lot of times these developers are in their own bubble. They don't know until someone from the outside comes in and says, hey, dude, you need to change X, Y, and Z. BioWare did do that. They had people come in from the outside and say, yo, you need to change X, Y, and Z. And let me tell you, they didn't change X, Y, and Z. They launched that shit exactly the way it was. And you can't tell me, from Casey Hudson all the way to the highest person CEO at EA, you're really telling me they looked at this and go, we're excited. This is going to be great. Go ahead and put it out. No way. This was some, executive financial, it has to come out in Q1 because we're not going to meet some goal financially or whatever. So we got to launch it anyways, because you can't tell me the people that are actually making the game thought it was a good idea to put this game out right now. Oh, we'll fix it on the fly. Get the frick out of here, because I'm sorry. We're at a point now where I'm tired of games coming out broken, and you tell me to basically shut up and dribble and wait till we fix it, and then you can go play it. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to move on to something else, because there's way too many other games out there that I could be playing and enjoying. Because let me tell you, let the Division 2 have dropped like that. I ain't playing the Division 2. As much as we freaking got our shield glasses on and got our money bags and been talking about this game for the last hour, if it would launch in a shitty state, I'd be like, hey, Julian Garrity, why the frick did you put this game out? Because it sucks. I would say the same thing. Doesn't matter. Same we would say to Bungie, same we would say to CD Projekt Red or anyone else, because we want to play good games. Anthem is not a good game because it's broken. It is halfway finished. It's a half measure. It's not finished. Yeah, I see the potential of it, but I also see to reach its potential is a long ass ways away. And that's the problem. And it is very frustrating for me, because I want it to be a great game. I want it to be a fun game. But when it's broken, when you have so many quality of life issues that flat out suck in the game, and you were warned to, hey, you might not want to put the game out this way, and you put it out anyways, tells me that that's corporate executive nonsense that's not coming from BioWare. That there's no way that comes directly from BioWare. And like Pete is saying, unfortunately, the end result could be, I'm not saying it will be, but it could be that team goes away. Look at what they did to Mass Effect Andromeda. Look at that as an example. That game came out broken, shouldn't have come out when it did. They launched it anyways, and they shut down the freaking studio and reassigned them to other things. I'm not saying that's going to happen to BioWare exactly, but you can't. And I've heard through the grapevine, and I don't know how true this is, but yeah, they're going to continue to support Anthem, but they're going to divert the majority of the studio to focus on Dragon Age and other things, and they're going to basically leave a skeleton crew to work on Anthem because they know it's already DOA. It's already lost favor in the court of public opinion. And as gamers, we've already gone through 2 iterations of Destiny that weren't right at launch. We went through 1 iteration of The Division that wasn't right at launch. So you really think we're going to do it a 4th time? It's not going to happen. People are going to go play other stuff. You know, you really think, you see what Microsoft is starting to do with Halo, and they're trying to rev that up, and we learn from our mistakes. You see CD Projekt Red is like, look, Cyberpunk ain't coming out till that shit is right. We ain't putting it out half-ass. We're putting it out when it's right. When you see more and more studios starting to do, look, Last of Us 2.
Oh, EA just got him. EA just got him.
Yep.
EA reached out and chopped him.
They're like, no, we got to cut him off.
Oh, no.
Cut him off.
No. EA got him. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
They're like, cut him. He's an EA game changer. Go, cut him, quick. Oh, my God. And I thought it was my connection. Like, damn, my connection is bad.
Nope, I got to clip that. I clipped that. Oh, that's going up on Twitter.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. he has the Ubisoft shook glasses on. Cut him out. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Hilarious. The Ninja Strikes again.
This is perfect. Rest in peace, Paris. The ninjas.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Oh. But besides that, P, like, I think. Oh wait, he's coming back.
He's reconnecting
now. That was hilarious. Oh man, please tell me people clip that, man.
I clipped it. So I need to get to my.
That was amazing. No, you know what it is? EA went to Discord like, cut him. Cut that off. It says he's reconnecting, right? So funny. Good thing this is the after show. But no, P, like, the thing I was gonna say is that it is difficult being a developer, because we know a lot of developers and we talk behind the scenes about stuff, and it's not easy, man. But also, they're also under pressure, man. The execs are like, no, we have to release this because of this, because of that. They don't care if the game is like good or not or whatever. There's some execs that be like, no, we can't release this. This is not good. Let's delay it. But there's just some that just want this game to just come out, man. They don't care. They don't care if it's done or not, you know?
Yeah.
Paris, you there?
No, he dropped completely.
Oh, he's not?
Switch
Okay.
servers real quick.
Oh,
Hopefully
say
that
something.
fixes it.
Yeah. So.
Can you hear me now?
We
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can hear
you,
you
but
now.
no video.
No video.
Weird. I closed Discord and reopened it. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. It's the EA gods, man.
Hear me now? You still hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had to restart Discord. Yeah, EA was like, "Hey, you say it too much. We cut your ass off."
What I was saying is that gaming development is hard. You know, I get that part. And like you said, man, when developers are making a game, they don't want to make a crappy game, you know. But the execs, they're thinking about investors, and we have to have a good name. We have to release this right now. But they're the one pressuring the game developers, and at the same time, the game developers are stressed out, stuck in this bubble. That once you hear feedback from the outside, then I'm like, oh damn, oh man. And then once they hear that feedback, it's like, God, it's too late. We can't really make the change. We could change a couple things, but there's a lot of things we don't have time to change. We have to release this game like this. you know. And one thing that I've been noticing is the timing of the release of this game. A couple months ago, when we heard that this game was coming out close to the release of the Division 2, we were like, ooh, that's not good. That's not good, right?
We called that.
We called it
before launch too. We were like, this looks bad.
Bad, exactly. And what's going on now? If you guys been following like the community managers and EA on Twitter, they've been active like crazy because they know a lot of people just tapped out and then moved on to the next game, man. And I feel bad for that because the community managers, they know they can't say it publicly. They know they're under pressure. They're stressed out. The feedback, the Division 2, the amount of content is there. They know. It's just sad that just overall, it's been a disaster, but at the same time, like I feel bad for the team, man.
Think of it this way: who would you rather be right now? Would you rather be Hamish at Massive, Cosmo at Bungie, or freaking AJ at EA?
You see more and more.
Of those three, because again, these are like the community managers for Destiny, Division, and Anthem. AJ's catching it right now. AJ's an awesome dude. I love AJ. He is so freaking cool. He's such an awesome guy. Really is. Him and Jesse that they're handling all that for Anthem right now over at EA. They're catching it. They're in a high pressure, high stress situation right now with this game. Whereas you look at Hamish. Over at Massive right now, everyone loves Hamish right now. Everybody loves him because the came out in a good state.
Yeah.
Bugs here and there, but nothing crazy, right? Everyone is just universally praising the game right now. And, Destiny 2 is in an amazing spot right now. Everyone loves Deej and Cosmo and DMG right now. It's like they're in a good spot. And of course, they all have pressure. They all have things going on behind the scenes that we have absolutely no idea about. But the point is, publicly, it's night and day when you compare Destiny and Division to what Anthem is going through right now. And Anthem is the new kid on the block, which again we've been talking about this a million times before that game launched. You got to come out of the gate swinging. You have to. In this day and age, you can't come out, well, we don't have content, but in 6 months, we hope we will. You can't do that. You got to come out the gate just like, holy shit, I've never seen this before. This is amazing. Look at that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Da, 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 da. You have to. You can't rely on promises for the future. You can't have broken UI. You can't have game-breaking bugs. You can't have temporary assets in your freaking game at launch. It's like, come on, dude. Really? And I don't know if when the EA ninjas got me, I was saying there's no way that CD Projekt Red is going to put out a half-ass game, right? There's no way that Naughty Dog is going to put a half-ass game out. Hell, even look at what Bend is doing right now with Days Gone. They kept delaying that game until they got it right, and now it's coming out in April, and everything from the preview events say that Days Gone looks like a pretty good damn game. You know what I'm saying? The bar has been raised. I mean, the bar is so high right now for AAA games that so much money is at stake. You can't come out slipping. You can't. You're better off delaying it than to put it out in a less than favorable state, which again is why QA is so important, why community feedback is so important, why, like it or not, these betas and things that they do for these open world online games are so important. Again, you really think Bethesda should have put out Fallout 76 when they did? No. But then you look at the roadmap for what they're planning to have available by the end of this year, it kind of looks like, well, why didn't the game launch that way? That's the argument that I'm going to have when Anthem gets their shit together, which will probably be a year from now. I'm going to go, hey, this looks great. Why didn't you launch the game with that? That's what people are going to say. And that's just the truth. That's not hating. That's just the God honest truth. Destiny went through the same freaking thing. The First Division went through the same thing. Whereas at least this time is why I say the Division 2 is kind of the gold standard for this. They launch with stuff day freaking one that we're like, wow, I have so many things to do. I look at the map sometimes and it almost looks overwhelming. There's so many things to do right at the start. And that's how you got to do it. Do you really think Bungie, when Destiny 3 comes out, is going to be tokens and no end game and all this stuff? And hey, guys, we got a raid. No,
it's coming. Coming soon.
They know they got to launch. Stack to the gills. with stuff. And that's the world we're in right now with these games as a service. Look, Halo Infinite is rumored to be a games as a service, right? You really think 343 is just going to put out just a little bit of content and go, don't worry, guys, we'll have more for you in 6 months?
Oh, no, they're definitely seeing what's happening with BioWare and EA right now with Anthem. They're like, we don't want to be that. That's not what that's not what we want to target. That's not what we want to be as our end product and our end delivery to the customer. We know what they want because they've seen it already. Now the question will be, have they seen it, and have they learned the lesson that BioWare is currently experiencing, right? Because apparently BioWare didn't pay attention to that when Massive had it with the original Division, and when when Bungie did it with Destiny. So the question will be, 343 now actually be like, okay, will they actually successfully avoid that pitfall and if necessary delay? Because Microsoft is another major corporation that at the end of the day sees dollars, not cents. Will they be okay with pushing it back a year or two if they foresee, or if there's a potential for having an Anthem like launch?
But you have to, in today's age, you have to, because with the way that social media works, the way that Reddit works, we're so connected now that if the word starts getting out that your game is not good or not feature complete, it gets around very quickly. Look again, just look at Anthem as an example. We every day during the early access, we're watching that Metacritic score just go down and down and down and down. You start seeing videos pop up on YouTube. You start seeing streamers openly talking about it. You saw Twitter blow up to where by the time the game was officially out, it was already a flop, because the word of mouth had gotten around that this is not a good game right now. It's broken. And I think that's the thing that people need to understand. It's not, when I say all this stuff, it's because, dude, we're in an era right now where you can't release broken games. And EA knew they were releasing a broken game. They knew it. You can't sit here with a straight face and tell me they didn't know it. Go back to the 41-minute interview I did on Anthem with one of the producers, right? Where I'm at EA and I'm sitting down with him, and it was great conversation, fantastic conversation. Listen to the questions that I was asking him, because I was basically like, hey man, what's up with this end game? What's up with this? What's up with that? Because I go, if you don't have compelling things to do, people are not going to be happy with it. I'm saying this to him before the game came out, and they're basically, hey, we're where, da 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 da, and here we are. Yep. All those worries. Look, you can roll the tape, take it all the way back to EA Play of June of 2018. I started going, I don't know about this game. I'm worried for X, Y, and Z. And here we are. All of it came true. All of it, which is so unfortunate, because I didn't want this. I wanted to be in the ultimate dilemma right now of going, I want to play Destiny. I want to play The Division. I want to play Anthem. I got to get a divorce and move to Sweden because I don't know what I'm going to do to try and play all these games. But I don't have that dilemma because Anthem didn't turn out to be the game I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a perfect example why those two games are a disaster, Fallout 76 and Anthem. I feel that Bethesda was depending, and also BioWare, they're depending so much on the brand of those games instead of the content. So for example, Bethesda was depending on the brand name of Fallout instead of the content, and then the actual, like, the game is fun, all that stuff. And with Anthem, they were depending at like the developers were depending on this game is coming from BioWare instead of the content. The Division 2, they had some tough time when they released the first, but they were not depending on this is the Division 2. No. When we went to see the pre-E3 presentation, we were sitting down in the front, and Julian went on stage, and the first thing he talked about was the end game. I was like, I see what they're doing, man. They're taking this to another level. It's not going to be like the first game at all, man. So they were not depending it just because, hey, it's a Division game, a brand new one. Check it out. Here, buy it. No, they're depending on the content since day one. You know what I'm saying? So,
no,
Pete,
Well, I have
Anything
a
else?
question, and then I want to bring up a conversation Danny and I kind of got enhanced about a while back, which was why did EA think it was okay to launch Anthem in this state? And Danny, your response at that time was because they knew that Apex was launching soon, and that they knew that it was going to be able to.
No, you got it wrong.
Okay, so then clarify that statement.
Yeah. So the reason why, and I had this conversation with you guys behind the scenes. So the past year has been not great for EA. So the investors are not happy, right? So yeah, they talked about the game. Anthem was coming out February since last year. They promoted that for almost a year, right? But at the same time, they like the publishers knew that Apex Legends was coming out too. So Apex Legends came out first, and it started as like, yo, big buzz. Oh my God, the game is phenomenal. Everything, right? The media was talking about it. What happened? The investors got excited again about EA, right? Anthem comes out, it's bad news, bad reviews, not good. So imagine if the investors were still unhappy and they just released Anthem without Apex Legends, just make believe. There's no Apex Legends 2019, and it's just straight up Anthem.
But we can't. We can't go into what if territory for this.
Yeah.
Because
but
it takes away from the narrative of the conversation. Apex launching right then before Anthem.
Yeah.
Regardless of how well or how successful it was going to be, basically spelled doom for Anthem at the end of the day. Because if Anthem isn't as much as a shit show, and Apex comes out, and you could even flip it. If Apex comes out and is a shit show, and Anthem is a phenomenal success, it's it's Respawn's fault for putting out a shitty game or launching it in a poor spot. But Apex came out like gangbusters, and it's still it's still top 3, top 5, watched game on Twitch. It's a super fun game. It's people are putting in the same vein as potential game of the year because it's changed the game entirely. Anthem, at the end of the day, regardless of whether they launch it now or they put in a shitty launch window, is still a poorly developed game, and it should not have been launched when it was. So if EA knew that, why still launch it? Why still put it out there when A, it's in a bad position, B, Apex came out like gangbusters right before it? Knowing that, why?
If you think about it, Pete, what else they have this year besides the sports?
Star Wars.
Okay, that's good. That's in October, but you really want to have that whole first quarter just dry? And I'm telling you, as a business decision, I see why they made that happen. Like, yes,
but
it was
think of it in the converse.
Stupid to do that.
But think of it in the converse. Does it make sense to put out a game that's gonna soil your reputation as a publisher and or developer? You'd rather take the PR hit in that respect early at the beginning of the year, as opposed to saying we're trying to make sure that Anthem is as good as it should be, and therefore we're going to hold back the release, regardless of all of the marketing push. Why take that risk as a reputation to your company? Look at their stocks; they tumbled like 8, 9, 10%, or 4% or something like that, and they took that massive money hit as a result.
But here's the difference, though, Pete. By just them releasing Apex Legends first, people are gonna remember that. And why is it that they're promoting? We have 50 million players. We have this. We have that. We have this. Because now, I think that helped EA a lot, man. Just with that game alone, man, it's been helping them a lot, man. So if it was just Anthem, it would have been a truly disaster. Yes, it is bad now, but I think just Apex alone, it helped EA a little bit, man. It's not, plus it's not dry. Like, it's not like if they would have, let's say, pushed this further later this year. What else they have besides sports? And yeah, Star Wars is a big one, but that's like the end of the year that's coming out. You know, so that's just my theory. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying like it makes sense.
So one of our viewers on Twitch just mentioned EA still has the mindset that pushing back a game is going to hurt its sales. I don't totally agree with that, because I remember we're talking 10 plus years ago, maybe is it 10 years ago, when Army of Two came out. They flew influencers out, or at the time they bloggers, video game bloggers, such as myself and a whole bunch of other people. And because of the feedback from that playtesting session, they pushed the game back 8 months. So I don't think that that's the case. I think in this particular instance, it was just poor management or poor project management, and just poor feedback from or poor understanding of the feedback that they got back from content creators and influencers and playtesters. It wasn't ready. They unfortunately pushed it out. Now, they pushed it out in a really, really tight window, knowing that they had games like Apex coming out. At least they knew that Apex was going to be coming out. They had games like they had to go against The Division. They had to go up against Metro Exodus. They had to go out against their own title, Battlefield, with Firestorm coming out. Why put it out now if you've got all these other titles? And that kind of counters your argument about titles coming out at the beginning of the year. They had all these other titles coming out, and you could take out Metro Exodus, but they knew that they had Battlefield Firestorm. They knew they had that internally. They knew they had Apex coming out. You got the beginning of the year covered. Why not give it another 3, 4, 5 months? Develop it, release it during E3, maybe release it during PAX.
And I agree with that, because think of it this way. It has been rumored, allegedly, that they paid Ninja $1 million frickin' to play Apex, right? So they knew internally, like you said, Apex was coming at the end of January. So they knew they had a quote unquote, what they were considering a big title dropping in quarter1. They took the unique approach of using social media and influencers and content creators to promote their game, which again, I think we all agree was a smart move for Apex. Apex has been a smash hit that went way beyond their expectations. I understand that, but at the same time, they've had some realistic expectation of Apex catching on and being a thing, right? You knew Firestorm was coming in March to supplement Battlefield 5, right? So quarter1 is covered from an EA standpoint. You can't tell me they can't go to their investors and their shareholders and say, look, here's what we did in quarter1, and push Anthem at least to quarter2, at least. It's like, come on. They knew this game shouldn't have come out when it did. They knew it. You cannot tell me that there were people high up in that company that didn't know that Anthem was in a poor state. You can't tell me they didn't. They knew, but they said, we're going to stay unwavered. We're going to stick to this release date, and we're putting it out because this meets our quarter1 financial thing, keeps all our investors and shareholders happy. That had to have been the conversation, because there's no other way that anyone at BioWare thought it was a good idea to launch that game when it did. It needed more time. It just did.
Yep. Wow, that was like a good, how many minutes after the show? Yeah, that was long. Yeah, that was long. No, I honestly, I just had to say what I said, because I know I have said I'm just not going to talk about the game anymore. But it's like every time I keep seeing all these headlines, and it keeps getting worse. Not to mention with what's his face that got banned, the streamer that got banned.
Yes.
Now I'm forgetting his name.
I know you're
not forgetting his name. Starts with a G.
Yeah.
He's big into Destiny or whatever. But the fact that he got no, it's a little different. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The fact that they banned him for playing the game, exploit in a what is a PvE game, because there's no PvP. He basically was getting loot too fast, because by him getting loot too fast, it was going to expose there was nothing to do in the end game. That was part of the reason they were banning people. And again, this is my speculation. I'm not saying that was the reason, and it turned into a 2-week suspension. But here's a person that was actively playing your game, that was actively promoting your game, streaming it. He's one of the big streamers out there, and you banned him because of an exploit. Whereas now he's no longer
as a result of your poor QA.
Glad, thank you. It was glad. It was glad. I'm glad you said did it. But the point of it is, he's actually promoting your game, and you've now just soured him on it too, right? It's like, dude, come on. I don't know. We'll look back at this 5 years from now, and it'll be a great lessons learned on how to not launch a games as a service, massive open world RPG type game. Clearly, because I'm sorry, and this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is happening, but my opinion. Anthem will be a ghost town. It probably already is a ghost town, but it will not be a relevant thing a year from now. I hate to say that, but I think it's the truth. I think next February, they might have some big expansion and it's going to drop to crickets because no one's going to be playing it. Sure, maybe EA can, get a bunch of influencers out, do some sponsored stuff, pay to have some buzz about it early on to play it. But at that point, what are people going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about year 2 of the division, which is probably going to have this great goodwill going throughout the year. We're going to be talking about the upcoming Destiny 3, which will be launching. Cyberpunk's probably going to be coming around that time. We're going to be talking about the next Xbox, the next PlayStation. You're going to have the next Assassin's Creed, most likely. That's going to get revealed. We're going to be talking about stuff like that. There's going to be so many other new things to talk about a year from now that why is he going to return to a dead game? Because that's what it's going to be a year from now, a dead game. No, people are going to move on. And that's EA's fault. Sorry, it's EA's fault, because if you launch this game in June of this year, and now some of the promised stuff that they said is gonna drop around that time, instead of it dropping as DLC, it drops as day one content. Now there's more things to do. Now you've had more time to QA the game. You've had more time to fix some of the quality of life issues, and it releases in a better state. People are having fun with it. They find their gameplay loop with it, and it lives on. And it has its roadmap that people can trust and believe in. So when now a year later, when you do drop that big expansion and then the new content, people are still engaged into your game and they want to continue to play it. Whereas people are not going to be engaged in this game by June of this year. And you really think people are going to come back to it in February of 2020 and want to play it again? Not going to happen. Too many other things going to be out there to distract people that are going to want to play. Period.
Yep. Yeah, I don't play that game anymore. I tried to give it a chance. Can't do it. I moved on and play other games.
Yep.
Yep. And if you want a pretty good game that has a lot of content, also check out Monster Hunter. That's another great game, man. They did a good job with that, man. Lots of content in there. So. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and the chat's bringing it up. We're going to know about Halo Infinite at that point. Again, more distraction, more new games, more new things to play. No one's coming back to Anthem. And that's just the honest truth. That's just
a shame, because the potential is there had they given it more time in the oven. Unfortunately, they tried to rush it and push it through, and we're seeing the results of their poor decision making right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens.
Yep. We'll see. We will see. All right. I gotta go hit the gym, and we're gonna go. Some friends of ours are running a half marathon that I am not running, but I'm gonna meet them at the finish line.
Everybody in the chat like, oh, I'm excited. Paris is gonna run. He's like, no, I'm just chilling.
No, F all that. I hate running. I do it only when I have to do it. That's it. All right.
Oh, remember, guys, again, donate.gamertagradio.com. Help us out so we could attend E3 this year, man. We need your support. Even if it's $1, fine. Help us out, please. That's it.
Yep.
All right. We're out.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.
See you later.
Later.